I've been here with another market watch for August for all of Wynnewood, and you probably heard already that the market has shifted. You might be wondering if it's turning into a buyer's market. It is not. There is still such a low amount of inventory in Lower Merion that it's not a buyer's market. There's a metric used to determine whether it's a buyer or seller's market, and it shows that it's firmly still a seller's market. It's just not to the astronomical degree that it was in the earlier part of the year. However, as you'll see with this, there's still a bunch of homes that, they go up if they're in good condition and they have a good price, they'll still get over asking. That's still pretty commonplace. A couple of these were from right before the shift, but I think instead of seeing like 20-25% over asking, which that happened a little bit in the earlier part of the year, we're going to see more like 5%. Maybe it'll get crazy and get 10%. But yeah, there's just not enough inventory for it to be a buyer's market at all. So yeah, national headlines might say something, but Lower Merion's a little different. All right, so I'm sharing my screen if I can find it. So there's a couple homes that are up, that have been up. We're seeing more price drops and days on market, yeah, but I think that still just has to do with sellers getting used to now like the new normal market. So there's a couple pending, and there was a bunch that closed. So this one on Hampstead closed, and that actually was like right on the money. That was on the market for 9 days. So before you would see things on the market like 4 days. Now you're going to see a lot of like 9 to 16. There were a couple homes that sold below asking, and then a bunch actually still sold above. So this one sold 8% below asking. I was on the market for 26 days. This one on Parkview sold for $750, and that was 8% above asking. That was on the market for 2 days. And I mean, yeah, if you have a home in that part, like it's gonna sell. And that again was, after the market had clearly shifted. This one on Crest sold for $520, and that was 4% above asking, and that was on the market for 3 days. So again, I think that's kind of what we're gonna see more, like less than 5% above asking. A lot of people now might think like buyers can like lowball or like send in not the best offers. If you are trying to buy in Lower Merion, you should know, or if you have friends or family, there's just not enough inventory. So if there's a house that one of your friends or family likes, they should just come strong with an offer. This one in Wiltshire sold 6.5% below asking. I mean, when you're that close on City Line, it's just, such a busy road. Like I think that one's actually on City Line, that a lot of people are just not interested in it because it's a busy road. This one on Hemlock sold slightly above the mill, and that was 14% below asking. That was on the market for 40 days. This one on Sabine sold for 16% above asking, and that was for 1-2, and that was like right on the corner of Sabine and Wynnewood. So it's like, slightly busy. Speaking of Wynnewood, this one on Wynnewood sold 2% above asking for $550. That was on the market for 8 days. So they had a pretty good price point on that. If you're on a busy road, it's just, you have to really nail your price. Otherwise you can sit. Harrogate, this one sold 1.5% above asking for $345. So in the earlier part of the year, if you saw something on the market for like a day or 3 days, you could be sure it went like 10 to 15% over. Now, instead of getting like 5 to 10 offers, seller might just get like 1 or maybe like 3 offers. So, instead of holding out for more, now we're seeing them back to like a normal market where it's like, okay, you got a good offer for what you asked for and what you wanted. So they go with it. This one in Indian Creek sold 4% below asking. Shout out Randy Barker. She helped the buyer. That home is absolutely gorgeous. So I'm going to go through it a little bit just so you can see it. I know her buyers are super happy with her, and yeah, so that's a very, very gorgeous home. So again, this collection that I'm going through, you have it in the email. You just click that black button and you can go through all the homes. You can search all the information about the homes and stuff. This one on Sheffield was 6% above asking, and that was on the market for 22 days. I mean, it's a little surprising, honestly, that it was on the market for 3 weeks and it still got 5% above asking, or close to 6% above asking. This one on Latham for just over 700K was 10% above asking, and that was on the market for 5 days. Again, if you're right next to South Ardmore Park and you have a pretty good price and your home's in at least decent condition, then it's gonna sell pretty quick. As long as you don't put like, an insane price on it. And even still with the market shift and not as many buyers, just like those prime areas people love. This one on Trent sold 5% below asking for 475. That was on the market for 21 days. This one on Mill Creek, this was right before the shift. So this was on the market 4 days. It sold 30% above asking. That's one of the higher ones I've seen. So it was listed for a mill, sold for 1.3. I don't know if we'd see that exactly anymore, 30% above asking. There was still, there was one on Winding Way in Marion Station like the other week that got probably close to like 20% above asking. So again, it'll still happen, but that's kind of now very much the exception as opposed to the rule. Powder Mill right here, 458. That was 6.5% above asking. That was on the market for 2 weeks. So again, yeah, we're gonna be, be seeing a little longer days on market, but we're also gonna be seeing still like 5% above asking. Crest for 581. That was 8.6% above asking. That was on a week. This one on Indian Creek was 115, and that was 4.5% above asking. That was on the market for 4 days. This one on Clothier, the new build, was 2.7%, just under 2 mil. And then this one on Red Leaf was 10% above asking, was on the market for 5 days, and that was 800K. And if you know, like that home, it needed work. It had a funky layout, but it's just like, if you're near Shortridge, yeah, as long as you, and they put like a decently good price on it. So anyway, that's it. I'm gonna stop sharing my screen. Again, all that info is like yours to access if you want. And then, the summer, like the market slows down. It was pretty slow. Now it's the fall. So before the holidays, the market does pick up. So if you have been thinking of listing, again, it's still a good time to list just because there's no inventory. There's not as many buyers out there. Sure, you're not going to get like, the whole kitchen sink thrown at you, but you're still going to get good offers. As you just saw, a lot of them still went above asking. So if you have been thinking of moving, or if you're just kind of curious what your home's worth, just, with how the market has shifted and whatnot, my contact info is below. I would love to just be a resource. Just feel free to reach out. We can go through your home, tell you what we think. Also tell you like, hey, if you, fix that, if you painted this, if you change those carpets, blah, 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 we could help maximize the value of your home. So yeah, I'm happy to help out, even just, no obligation whatsoever. All right, that's it. Have a good one. And, oh, go Birds, of course.